Looks like we have a good crowd today already. We're looking forward to an informative and important presentation by Ken Ostermiller about eBird. There is a PDF handout. It's titled eBird 101, an introduction. I've put that on our homepage, so it's 6 pages long with a lot of information. You're welcome to download that as we go along with the presentation or afterwards to review it. And just have a couple announcements. This Sunday, October 10th, we're going to be at the Woolly Bear Festival in Vermilion. If you are out that way and would like to stop by, we'll have a table. We'll have some information, books, and some Black River Audubon merchandise. But more than that, we'd be glad just to see you and say hi. October 16th, that's our next field trip. And that will be another important event. That's Lights Out Cleveland. And that will start at 7:30 at the Lorraine Impound. So anybody's interested in doing that, meet at the Lorraine Impound at 7:30. And then next month, on November 2nd, our next presentation will be by Brian Zwiebel, and it will be on the Behaviors of Shorebirds. Brian is a wonderful speaker. We've had the chance to, not only a great speaker, but also a great photographer, and we've had a chance to attend some of his classes in the past. So I think everyone will really enjoy that. That is scheduled to be in person at this time, and it will be at the Carlisle Reservation Visitor Center, and we will be in a smaller room for this meeting. So that's all we have for right now, and Larry will now introduce Ken, our speaker.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming. Unfortunately, we're not in person, but this is the next best thing, I guess. Ken Ostermiller will provide an introduction to the eBird website and tips for using it so you can review your records, find birds nearby that you are interested in seeing, and plan where to go birding when you travel. Birders who use eBird are invited to bring their questions about how to use it most effectively. Ken will answer as many questions as possible during his program. Ken works as a volunteer with the Cornell Laboratory of Ornithology, reviewing hotspots in Ohio for the eBird website. He created and maintains, in cooperation with the Ohio Ornithological Society, a website, Birding in Ohio, https birdinginohio.com, that describes over 4,000 birding locations in Ohio. Ken Ostermiller.
Well, hello, everyone. It's good to see you here. Thanks for your interest in eBird. I do work as a volunteer with eBird. I manage the eBird hotspots in Ohio. And I also volunteer with the Ohio Ornithological Society and work with them in partnership in managing the Birding in Ohio website. This evening, I want to demonstrate how you can use eBird, the eBird website, to get the most out of eBird. I would appreciate any questions that you have, or if you're an eBird user and you have a great tip for using eBird. I'd love for you to share with us some of that. You can put questions in the chat box, and we will try to respond to as many as we can. I may not be able to answer everything. I know a lot about eBird, but there are a lot of things that I'm not great at. I think you know that eBird's a free program. It's from the Cornell Lab of Ornithology and the National Audubon Society. In my opinion, it's one of the premier community science projects in the country. It's being used by researchers and in science in many, many different ways. And there's absolutely no cost to you to sign up or to use it. And thanks to the Black River Audubon Society for hosting this program. And thank you all for being willing to do this as a Zoom meeting. Now, I'm going to assume that most of you know something about eBird. However, if there is anyone here who needs to know how to sign up for eBird, please put that as a question in the chat box, and I could demo that, but I'm guessing we don't need to take the time to do that. But if there's anyone who needs that, we could. So, and in that chat box, if there are things that you really want me to demonstrate, put that in the chat box too. Clicking on sharing my screen, I managed to click on leave the program. So I'm going to share something from my screen with you. There are two websites that you might want to make a note of. The eBird website is just ebird.org. You can look at it if you want to. You can look at it while we're doing this, but you can look at it after the program. And the Birding in Ohio website is birdinginohio.com with hyphens in that name. And I'm going to show you both of those websites. If you ever need to get in touch with me, my email address is ken.ostermiller@gmail.com. And do please, anytime during this presentation, ask questions. One tip I have for you is that eBird has two really good mobile apps that you might want to get if you're using eBird. eBird Mobile is available on, both of these are available for iPhone or the other platform. eBird Mobile, it doesn't replace the eBird website, but it is great for entering checklists while you're in the field, and it has some of the functions of the eBird website. There's some things you can't do with it, but it's a great app. And eBird Merlin is just getting better and better. It's an app that's designed to help you identify birds. You can, for example, enter a picture of a bird, a photo of a bird you've taken, and Merlin will probably identify it quite easily. They've just added a sound identification, which is working better and better all the time. And I really like it because my hearing is not what it used to be. And I find that Merlin will at least tell me what birds are probably there that I'm not seeing. So I really recommend those two apps for you. All right, let's take a look at eBird, and I'm going to change to the website. Don't I see the website? Hang on a minute, I've got to. There we go. This is the eBird website. And it has, it is a very extensive website with lots of tabs up here at the top. There are some that you need an eBird account to use. If you want to submit data to eBird, you need an account. If you want to view data you've submitted to eBird, you need an account. But the other tabs you can explore even if you don't have an eBird account. And we're going to take a look at this Explore tab in just a minute. Right now I want to switch over to the About eBird. There's a really nice video presentation on this tab, and I'd encourage you to watch it at home. We won't take time to look at it here tonight, but it's really a nicely done introduction to eBird if you need that. eBird helps us find more birds, and it helps us keep track of our bird lists, photos, and sounds. You know, when I first started birding, we were writing a record of a bird when we first saw it in the back of a Peterson field guide. I'd write the date in there and the place that we saw it. And a little later on, I got a paperback life list with a lot of blank pages in it. And I began to fill in a little bit more information in that paperback book. And then when computers came along, I got interested in databases, and I tried to make my own database of what we'd seen, and actually got quite a bit of information into it. But once eBird came along, and I saw that that database that I had, which only I could see, could be made available to scientists around the world. And right away, I knew eBird was something I was going to use a lot. So it keeps track of what we see quite well, and I'll show you how it does that in a minute. You will also join the world's largest birding community. This is a worldwide project, and it's contributing to science and conservation in lots of ways all around the world. What I don't have open here is the chat box, so I'm not seeing if there are any questions. Now I've opened that. That went away when I closed the program inadvertently. Okay, let's see what eBird can do for us, and I'm going to switch over to the Explore tab. This is where you can explore eBird. Yeah, I've got a, oops. There we go. The Explore Species option is a great way to look at information about any bird in the world. Let's let it surprise us and see what, well, here's a red-naped ibis. This is like having a world-class field book right at your fingertips, and you can look at any bird in the world in this way. And it'll show you whether you've seen this one. I have not. It shows you where it is, lots of information about various birds of the world. Another thing you can do, and we'll come back to this, is explore regions. Say you're going to be traveling and you want to know, where can I bird, or what birds might I see? You can see that in explore regions. Oh, I see here someone wants to see a ringneck pheasant in the explore species. Well, let's try that. There we go. Oh, as in, where would you go to see a ringneck pheasant? Okay, basically that was what I was going to do next. So let's do that. I was going to drop down here to this section of the Explorer that has species maps that will show you where particular birds are. So let's go do that. So you want to know where a ringneck pheasant is, huh? And let's go to Lorraine County. And eBird has to think a little bit about that. It's taking a long time to think tonight. There we go. And what it does is it shows us markers on the map of where ringneck pheasants are being seen. And it doesn't look, the recent sightings are in red. The sightings over a month old are in blue. So not seeing any in red here close to us. But if you want to see, all right, looks like people have seen them at Wellington Reservoir. This is back in 2007. We can also change the dates up here. Let's say we want to see year-round the current year instead of all. And we can change this back to in fact, I could even go to where you typically hold your meetings. There we go. Doesn't look like there were any sightings near there. But that's how you would find where you'd see ringneck pheasants in Ohio. Looks like Hook Street wetlands. Somebody saw them in March there. We'll come back to that. I wanted to demonstrate that in a little bit different way. Let's go over here to bar charts. Say you want to know what birds you might see at a particular location. Bar charts are the way to do that. And when you click on that, you get this dialog where you have to select a location. And it's a little fussy to do, and I'm going to show you a quicker way to do it in a minute. But you have to go to Ohio, and let's go look at Sandy Ridge. So we select the hot spots in Ohio, click continue, and I'm going to search for Sandy Ridge. Click that, go back up to way up to the top. You can see why I've my internet is a little slow tonight, so you'll have to be a bit patient with it. Here it goes. Okay, so we've seen 255 species of birds at Sandy Ridge. Let's come back to this. One of the features of the Birding in Ohio website is that I've automated some of this kind of thing for you. So if I go to Lorraine County and find Sandy Ridge Reservation, the page about Sandy Ridge has lots of good information about the trails and tips for birding there, when it's open, birds of interest. There are links back up here at the top to the website for the reservation. But some eBird searches for you. So the bar charts you can get for different seasons of the year, for the entire year, with one click here, instead of doing all that I showed you you have to do in the eBird website itself. So I'm gonna, you can also look at the hotspot map and view details about Sandy Ridge here. Like this will show you again, this isn't the bar chart, but the number of species and who's seen them. You can even, if you've got an eBird account and you've birded there, you can get your own life list of what you've seen there. I've been to Sandy Ridge just a few times. We've seen 87 species there over the time. So let's get that bar chart back open. And the bar chart tells you lots of information. If you see green all across the whole year, see these are the months, January through December, and these bars are big, that bird has been seen more frequently than if the bars are very thin. So Canada geese are there all year round. Mute swans are there all year round, but not quite in as large numbers or seen on as many checklists. But you see the pintails are there they're not there in the summer. They go away to breed, evidently, and then come back. The teals are there pretty much all year, but most of them leave during the summer. The ringnecks migrate through. And I'm going to go way down here to the warblers. They're way down. There are a lot of birds that are seen there. And you can see that the warblers come through in the spring and fall. And it's October now, and a lot of the warblers are already through by this time of year. The yellow rumps hang around a lot. One of the nice features about the bar chart is that it will open that species map that we looked at for the ringneck pheasant at the location that this bar chart is for. So let's see where yellow-rumped warblers are being seen near Sandy Ridge. And you see here we've got not only those blue markers, but red ones. And the red ones mean the bird has been seen there within the last 30 days. So somebody has seen it at Sandy Ridge, and you can see who's seen it. It was seen there yesterday by Debbie and Mark Raven. You can even, if you want to, look at their checklist that they submitted. But this is in eBird where you can get information about specific sightings of birds. These are all the sightings of yellow-rumped warblers at Sandy Ridge, at the hotspot. Now you can also see that not everybody is using the hotspot to submit their lists. In eBird, you can make personal locations if you want to. The trouble with doing that is that that bar chart that I showed you about Sandy Ridge doesn't include all of these sightings. And I wonder if we could get all these people to submit their sightings at the hotspot, whether we actually have more species represented. It's possible. If you don't want your name to appear there, you have the option in the settings in eBird to make your name anonymous birder, and there are some people who, for various reasons, need to do that. Okay, so I've shown you two things from the Explore tab on the eBird. We've looked at species maps and bar charts. If you're a birder who really loves to take photos, or you're good at recording sounds, you can submit them with your checklists. And this allows us to search for birds that have photos in eBird. You can, let's say you wanted to see just the towhees. So, alrighty, got lots of towhees. Here are just lots of pictures of eastern towhees. These are the sound recordings that people have made of them. You can explore that to your heart's content, and there are people who really love that. Another thing you can get here, for these sections of Explore, you don't need an account, but you do need an account if you want to use these tools to find species you need. So if you want to know what species you can expect to find in a particular region that you haven't seen, you can set up you can use this target species tool to have eBird show you what birds you haven't seen this year. You can also have it send you alerts on your email of rare birds that are seen, even if you've already seen them, or species you haven't seen in a particular year. There are birders who really like those tools in eBird. And back in my, this website, on the county page, I've got the links set up for you for those alerts. So here is the needs alert for Lorraine County. And if I wanted to know what birds have I not seen this year that are seen in Lorraine County, you can see I have not birded in Lorraine County very much this year. There are lots of birds I could find in the county if I wanted to do that. And if you subscribe to this alert, you can get it via email. All right, let's take a look. I'm checking my notes to see what I wanted to do next. All right, I wanted to demo for you quickly how you enter a list. Let's say I was going to go to Sandy Ridge and submit a list. So I'd enter, I could enter the county here. It's going to show me a map, and we can zoom in. I could even search for Sandy Ridge here. It'll zoom in, and there's the Sandy Ridge location. I click on continue, and the website asks me what date I birded. Let's say I birded there yesterday. I walked back in, so it's a traveling count. Let's say I was there at 10 a.m. Maybe I was there for an hour, and whoops. It won't let me do a part, will it? Usually I'd put like a half mile probably in here. I don't know if it'll let me do that. Yeah, it will. Okay. And let's say there were two of us. So eBird wants to know something about your effort for this checklist. And once you've entered that, you click continue. And eBird, you can choose to group the birds by the most likely to be seen. So this shows me a list of the birds that I'm most likely to see there. And, you know, say I saw some crows and some blue jays. Oh, a red-headed woodpecker was there. I'm just making this up, of course. Saw some goldfinches. If you want it to find the bird for you, let's say I saw a blue-winged teal. It'll jump there. This is very easy to use on the website, and very easy to use. It's a similar interface. It works just a little differently on the apps, but it's basically you're entering the same information. So let's do another thing to show you. I haven't showed you, I'm going to go to my eBird. Yes, I'm going to leave that checklist and not submit it. One of the great features about eBird is that it helps you keep track of the birds you've seen. And it keeps track of it in many, many different ways. You can see it by region of the world. Here, it's got my United States list. I could zoom out, and that's my world list. You can see it by year. I could show you this is the year list numbers of all the birds I've seen in these various years. And if I click on any of these numbers, it's gonna show me the specific birds that I've seen. So we've seen 240 this year so far. And the last sighting I saw was a Forster's tern up at the Lake Erie Metro Park. We were at the Detroit River Hawk Watch. What was the first bird I saw this year? Go way down here. Oh, cardinal, of course. They're here at home. So eBird does a great job of keeping track of the birds you've seen and lets you sort it in all kinds of different ways. Last spring, I was wondering when I should put my hummingbird feeders up. And I wasn't quite sure when the hummingbirds have showed up at our house. So let's go look at this is my backyard. And we're looking at 2021. I'm going to change this to all years. And I'm going to ask it to show me all of the sightings of ruby-throated hummingbirds. So I'm seeing here all of the sightings of ruby-throated hummingbirds that we've made at our feeders. And when did they start coming in the spring? Well, let's see. One easy way to do this would be to go up here And instead of doing all, let's do all years, but let's select, I wonder if we ever had any in April. All right. We had, in 2011, we had a hummingbird that showed up on April 28th. So I guess I ought to get my hummingbird feeders out around April 15 or so, just in case somebody else comes early. But I'll bet most of them come in May. Let's see. Yep. So you can see that I could find out when the hummingbirds come. And I then got curious, well, when's the last time we see hummingbirds? Well, let's see. Do we see them in October? Yeah, we had one this year on October 1st. We had one on October 2nd in 2015. But mostly they're going to be leaving in September, it looks like. I think this is so cool that you can look at your own records in this kind of detail. Now here are the September records of the last one in 2020 was September 20th, September 14th in 2019, 26th in 2018. It's a way of keeping track of the birds you've seen at your own feeders. All right, what else could I show you? Another kind of very interesting section of the eBird website is this science section. And it's got some links . Let's see what happens to, I was curious the other day, what happens to the chimney swifts? And let's take a look at this abundance chart. Now, in the winter, they're all down here somewhere in South America. I think they're really not sure exactly where they are. Now, that went by awfully fast, didn't it? Let me see if I can, thought I could, here. Here's January 11th, 18th, 25th, 8th of February. See, they really don't know where they are in South America. I read they were mainly in Peru, but don't think they know. Now here by March, they're headed up. Looks like they're going up that way. Well, here they're in April, May, and in June they're July, You see, they're in August already. They're headed south. And here they go in October. See, here's close to today's date. They're still around. We saw a whole bunch of hundreds of them flying over Chippewa Lake the other day. They're headed south. And look how far they go. My goodness. Way down. Anyway, you can look at almost any bird in that way. I see a question back about the hummingbirds. What if you wanted to know not just about my own backyard, but when they're around generally? We can take a look at that. Let's go there. So I'd encourage you explore this this science tab. It's got lots of kind of interesting information, and if you get a question like, I wonder where those birds go in the winter, it probably has an animation for whatever species you're interested in seeing. All right, let's go back to Lorraine County, and you wanted to know when the hummingbirds would be in a general area. That's where your bar chart's going to help you. Let's find. So we can see here that the ruby throats start coming in April. The last week in April. See, there are 4 weeks here in each month. So they're here the last week in April. They start coming. And it looks like they're mainly all here by the 3rd week in May. So that would give you a good, if you live in Lorraine County, this is a good example of how you could find an answer to the question that I asked, is when should I put my feeders up? And you can see they're pretty much gone in October, although there's some that hang around. These are probably migrants that are coming through. That the bird that we saw in October this year, we think was probably a migrant, not one of the hummingbirds that I saw. So that's how you can use the bar chart to help you see when's a particular bird going to be in your area. I hope that answers that question. I see there's a question here. I just signed up on eBird and have many lists for over 2 years of birding. Not planning to enter all of them. How should I go about getting started to capture what I have seen? It would not be complete lists. Is that okay? Absolutely. And let's take a look at how you do that. I'm going to go back to get up here so I can see my tabs. Let's go back to submit lists. And I assume you're going to do that you want to do this for, you may want to do this for a county. So you do need to know where the bird was for the list you're creating, and you could do it for the whole country if you wanted to. Let's say I'm going to do something for Ohio. See, the only thing that's required here would be country, but let's say you saw these birds somewhere in Ohio. You'd click continue. And I think I can just continue here. and you're going to, you don't have a count of them. You don't know, you're not going to say exactly where they were in Ohio. And any list that you submit at the Ohio level is going to be, is not going to go into the research database. The scientific community, they could see it, but it's not going to get reviewed by the checklist reviewers because it's not marked as accepted into the research database. But you want to choose this historical category. And if this is a range of dates, if it's a range of dates, then you want to enter the date as January 1st, 1900. Whoops, it goes back to 1800 now. Didn't used to do that. Whoops, took the wrong one. Come on here. There we go. Any list that's submitted for the date January 1st, 1900 is assumed by eBird to be a list that you're doing for list building purposes. And you could put all the birds you've seen that you want to say, I saw that bird and I don't care to record where I saw it or exactly when. I just know I've seen that species. You can enter them in this way. So that's how to do that. If you have a list that's got more information than that, say you do know if you want to list the specific date you saw a bird, you could do, and you know the date and you want to record that in your checklist, you could put the date you saw it, and then as much information here as you can about it, and just put that one bird on the list. Or you can do this strategy of putting a lot of birds from different dates, but use this January 1st, 1900 date. Okay, I hope that answers that question. I got a question here. Is the frigate bird still being sighted? I see Eileen says she does have dates and locations. Well, then you can still use this historical. If you know the date and location, but you don't know the time, you should still use the historical protocol observation type for that. Okay, well, how could we find out whether the frigate bird has been seen? Well, let's go back up. Do we know which frigate bird that was? Was it a magnificent frigate bird? Does anyone know?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Magnificent.
All right. All right. I selected the wrong place for that. Let's go back here. I wanted to go down to the species map. And just enter Ohio here. I think it was seen out on the lake. We have to zoom in enough to get let's have it show the point sooner. All right. It looks like it was last reported on September 22nd. But that's how you could find when was a bird last reported. that you've seen. Oh, great. Oh, I know one other thing I had wanted to share with you. I think we've still got time. What if you're going to travel? How can you use eBird to help you when you're traveling? That's where Explore Regions is good. Let's say I'm going to Arizona. I'm going to Cochise County, and I'm staying in Sierra Vista. A couple years we've stayed at a bed, birds, and breakfasts in Sierra Vista with Tony Batiste. He's a great host. And I want to know where to bird around Sierra Vista. Well, one thing you can do is go look at the hotspot map. Here's Sierra Vista. And it's going to show you all the hotspots around. I think Tony's place is somewhere in here. Let's see if we can find it. Well, I'll tell you what, let's do. It should have opened it for me. No matches. That's interesting. I don't know why that's not opening. Well, anyway, I can look at all the hot spots around Sierra Vista and look at information of the birds seen about them. One nice thing about the hotspot map is the redder the color, the more birds are seen. So certainly I'm going to want to go to the Ash Canyon Bird Sanctuary. This is formerly the Ash Canyon B&B, and I think they've reopened it as a sanctuary. That is a great place to go. Miller Canyon's not being used for current checklists, so you would probably have to use, we've been to Beatty's Guest Ranch when we've been there. We saw lots and lots of hummingbirds at that place. And if you want to know what you could see at a particular place, you can get the bar chart for it. And I might even say we were going there. Let's say we were going in October, just for the heck of it. Who knows what we might see there in October. And let's see just what birds are being currently seen. So let's go last year and this year to see what birds are seen there in October. Here are 52 species. I'd like to see a Gambel's quail. You can see that they've got hummingbirds there in October. Probably not going to see the starthroat, but certainly you'd see the Rivolis. Well, maybe not. They may have gone. See, you can see the birds start leaving in October, don't they? But if we were there in the first 2 weeks, you'd see more. So as you're planning your trip, you can do this kind of thing. Take a look at what's being seen recently at particular places. And maybe if I'm going to go in October, I want to go within the first 2 weeks. So it looked like a lot of stuff leaves. Although it's interesting that there are fewer observations at this location. We could also look at this same kind of bar chart for the whole county if you wanted to get a better idea of what you've seen in the county. Another thing that if you happen to be traveling to Arizona at one time, I was collecting information about eBird hotspots in other states than Ohio, and I created a parallel website to the Ohio website, and I happen to have all of the hotspots in Arizona described. So you could get information that I've collected over the years about Cochise County. This looks similar to the Birding in Ohio website on the internet at this ebirdhotspots.com website. As I say, it's a parallel website to the Ohio website. Many of you may not have heard, we're going to be moving to Vermont when a retirement home opens for us in the Burlington area. And I've been spending some time recently entering the data for the Vermont eBird hotspots. And I got lots of help from the birders in Vermont have been most excited about having this website go up for them fairly quickly, but I got lots and lots of help from the birders in Vermont. It's a great birding community. We're looking forward to going there. Okay, I see I've got some other questions. Yes, it's 8 o'clock and we do need to quit. Someone asked, what does the icon camera mean? That there's a photo. I'm not quite, I see what you meant. Let me go back to that. I think the question was, not quite sure. It must, yes, I would say if you see a camera icon, it must mean there is a photo on a checklist, perhaps. Not quite sure where you're asking that question. Well, friends, our time, I'm getting a message that our time is up. So thank you so much for listening for all this time. If you need any help with eBird, feel free to contact me. I'd be delighted to talk with you. So thanks so much. I'll turn it back over to the Audubon Society folk.
Thanks, Ken. Please stop sharing your screen and then we can go back to Rob's.
There we go. Sorry. Yeah, sorry that I ducked out there for a minute. I just clicked the wrong link on Zoom.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Ken. That was great. And did I see correctly you had over 800 life birds?
Yeah, we were able one year to go on a trip to Australia, so we got over 200 birds there. So we've done a bit of birding, although there are many birders who've seen many more than we have.
Yeah. Well, that was very good. Again, thank you very much. And hopefully we'll see all the members in November at the Carlisle Reservation for our next meeting.